Pretty cool, right? Yeah, it took me 8 months. I have brain damage. So you're probably wondering, what inspired you to make this? Well, I was really bored. The first thing I needed to do was get access to the game's memory so I could see things like the player's position, task locations, things like that. There's only one slight problem with that. I have no idea how to do that. Thankfully, someone on the internet already figured it out, so I can just steal their code and repurpose it for my use case. Man, I love being a programmer. Next up, we need to figure out how to actually move the player. Thankfully, Python has a built-in library that allows us to emulate a gamepad, so we can move the player by simply simulating holding the joystick a certain direction. As for how we actually determine what direction to hold the stick, Python has a function called attend2, which does exactly what we want. Now that we can move the player, we need to actually figure out how to get from one point on the map to another. The way I went about solving this is by using something called graph theory. By walking around the map and recording multiple x and y coordinates as nodes in a graph, we can use well-known graph theory algorithms like Dijkstra's algorithm in order to determine how to get from one point on the map to another. No way. No way. Bro. Are you... Let's go. With movement out of the way, it was time to automate tasks. And I mean, there's only a couple tasks, right? How long could it take? With the final task automated and my sanity only slightly intact, the bot was finally able to play a complete game of Among Us entirely on its own. Well, except for a few small things. First of all, when the bot finds a dead body, should it report it immediately, or should it walk around and see if it can find who did it? Also, whenever a meeting was called, the bot would just sit there and do nothing until the timer ran out, so I made the bot just click skip whenever someone else decided to vote or whatever. Despite these small issues, the bot was still performing really well, and was actually able to complete a few games while I was off in another room. If we get all our tasks done, I consider that a win. It could solve every task, navigate, and even solve sabotages when they came up. It was all going really well. So that's it, right? The bot can play a game completely on its own. What more could we possibly— But Tim, what about Imposter? Fine. When playing as Imposter, there's a few things that the bot needs to be aware of. First of all, the bot needs to be aware of what players are around so it can decide whether or not it should kill, or if it's even capable of killing at that moment. This is pretty easy to do, as since we know where every other player is with their coordinate position and where we are, we can calculate the distance from the bot to every other player and determine if they're within our vision. However, calculating the distance directly causes a few problems. The main issue is that if a player is behind a wall and we go to calculate the distance, we'll think they're a lot closer than they actually are. This issue can be fixed by calculating the distance indirectly with the graph we set up earlier. Alright, now it's time to figure out when the bot should actually kill. When playing as Imposter, there are actually a lot of different strategies that you can use. What I decided to do was have the bot only kill when the number of imposters in a room equals a number of crewmates in a room so that you can handle things like double kills, or if it's just you, then you can kill that person. However, there are some cases when the bot doesn't need to worry about this stuff. As an example, if the bot only needs one more kill to win, then it should just kill. Another thing we need to be aware of is things like the cameras and the lights. With the cameras, it's pretty simple to detect when you're on cameras, as you can see if a player is nearby the camera station, and if you're within one of the areas where the cameras can see. As for lights, since we have access to the game's memory, we can see whether or not the lights are on. Now, we need to actually implement reporting, as before we had the bot just walk past bodies whenever we see it, which, if you didn't know, is pretty suspicious. If you make a kill as Imposter, it usually makes sense to run away. However, there are some times when you kill and then someone walks into view, so what I had the bot do in that situation is just report the body. Otherwise, the bot will kill and then immediately leave to go somewhere else or fake a task. Alright, with all that done, the bot should be able to kill with no problem. With that small bug fixed, the bot should be a lot less suspicious now. Okay, we have Crewmate and Imposter, the two things you can be in an Among Us game. What more could we possibly— But Tim, isn't the whole point of Among Us to talk to your crewmates and determine who the imposter is? You know what? Fine, I will make it chat. Tell me, Have you ever been gaslit by ChatGPT? Easy. Easy. Look at the speed. Ooh. The bot started consistently winning, whether it was Crewmate or Imposter. I also added a feature where it was able to vote for whoever it wanted to. At this point, the bot couldn't be stopped. Or maybe. I can't be stopped. No one in Among Us is...